4 credit cards. 3 to 4 credit cards. Do you know that the average bankruptcy in America that was filed, the people were only about $3,500 a day, but they ruined their credit for 7 to 10 years over $3,500. Because you know what? The attorneys on the bankruptcy side, before they changed the laws, that's how they made their money. They went after people and didn't care about them having other ways to get out of it by taking financial education courses. They just wanted their fee. Hey, you got a little bit of debt, let's file bankruptcy. Don't worry about it. It's all, taken care of. But now your debt is eliminated, but your credit's jacked up for 17 years. Okay? So Sears, you thought they were in the manufacturing business, but they were in the credit card business. And they ended up having to selling off their credit card company because people found out that they were getting over on people. Okay? So we're not just gonna blame them, but there's a little other small company called Jacques Penney. Everybody ever heard of them? Okay? So here's the trick of how they train you. They say, we lowered your monthly payment by 75%. That means on a regular charge balance of $500, your payment used to be $60. But because we lowered it, now under the new low rate of 3%, you only pay $15 a month on your scheduled monthly payment. Now, can everybody see that bottom line there?
Yes.
Can we all read that together, what they want us all to do? Let's, 1, 2, 3. Now, you can buy what you want today. Did it say what you need? So they changed their mathematical equation, their accounting practices, so they can get you to do what? Buy more.
But see, you're paying interest on interest, and you pay that $15, you're not even paying.
Exactly. Because you're not paying, but the minimum and the accruement of the rule of 72 is now working against you. Okay? So let's go to the book and let me give you some tips on this, okay? Everybody enjoying this so far? Good stuff. So, corporations want to get me into debt and keep me there forever. Forever. Learn to control the urge to charge and spend. Learn to control the urge to charge and spend. Now, also, cancel all store credit accounts cards. Their rates are higher, okay? And I know a lot of you here already know that, but we just want to reinforce it, okay? Perform plastic surgery on all but one credit card, okay? Shut down all credit card offers by using the opt-out number in the book. Now, here's a question I have for you. How many people, by show of hands, know when your debt freedom date is? Do you know when you're going to be 100% out of debt as a consumer and on everything you got? One person, guess what? That's 2 out of 10. That's a felony number, okay? That's a felony number. So the first thing you need to get in your financial education plan is when you're going to be out of consumer debt. That's what we're going to do for you, okay? How many people, by show of hands, want to do that? Good stuff. All right, so let's talk about debt consolidation real quick. Consolidate your high interest consumer debt into a home equity line because it's tax deductible. Now, I'm not saying you do it. That's an option, okay? That's an option, because here's how that works. If I'm paying 3.5% on my mortgage and I have accumulated, let's say, $50,000, $60,000 in equity, and I have $30,000 in consumable debt at 18%, and I'm paying the minimum, do you know that your tax interest is doubling on that debt every 4 years? Because 4 times 18 is 72. And like Alice said, if you're just paying the minimum, it's never going away. If you have a $5,000 credit card balance and you pay the minimum payment, it'll take you 38 years to pay it off. So if I have over here, if it's applicable, $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 in home equity in my house, and I'm only paying 3.5% straight interest, it might make sense to take that consumer debt and put it over here and eliminate 15% of multipliable interest that's never going to get out of it. Does that make sense? Okay, so let's move right along. Continue to make the same total payment at a lower interest rate will accelerate your debt freedom.
So if I'm paying $2,000 on all those credit cards, now I can pay $2,000 on that house note.
Exactly.
That's right.
Exactly.
And then you get tax deduction.
Exactly. You hear that?
Which is a double.
Exactly. How many people like to get a double tax reduction? And see, these are basic things. But see, we got to ask ourselves a question. If I have an accountant, I have an attorney, and I have a banker, why isn't he or she telling me about these basic things can benefit me? Because guess what? If you benefit me, guess what I'm going to do with you? I'm going to spend more money at your institution. Doesn't that make sense? Everybody agree with that? You did me a solid, so I feel great about you, so I'm going to do more business with you, okay? So the next thing we want to do, we want to accelerate your debt date by applying the same payment to each one in a decreasing number of accounts. That's what this slide right here illustrates. Okay? And it's small, but I'll blow it up and it'll be sent to you, so don't worry about it. So basically what it's teaching you how to accelerate that debt for yourself. And here's another tip. Here's what people typically do when they finally wake up to say, wow, I need to get rid of this stuff. They try to go after the big debt first. Let me tell you why that's bad. And see, Alice knows. Here's why it's bad. Because when you're encouraged to go after that big mountain, and then that one day that you got tired, you just couldn't get out of bed to do it, you will get discouraged and stop doing it. But if you go after the little debt and you pay it off, it'll start building up a momentum, a confidence that I can accomplish.
And you can also take that little bill you didn't pay and add it to
There you go.
bigger bill.
Exactly.
And then they're just like
Exactly.
dominoes that start falling.
Exactly. So again, you guys are going to go back and you're going to tell Mr. Taggart, you know what, you didn't tell me anything new. You're right. But again, if you ain't applying it before we got here, I am telling you something new. And now we're providing you something to hold yourselves accountable to get a plan to execute. So what I've come to find out, I've worked with people who are worth $50 million and they have gaps. And our job is to create a symphony for you. You want me to put together the best musicians, put them in harmony, and make them play the best symphony you've ever heard. That's what we're here to do for you. Can everybody get excited about that? Let's go back to the book real quickly, okay? So now your credit report. Your credit score determines the interest rate that you pay on loans. And you guys probably know this. Your credit score also determines the jobs that you get when you interview for jobs and promotions, because that's a reflection of your character. So when I had that 580 credit score, I was paying at 580 because I didn't know what I didn't know. But now at 800 plus, I get the best rates. It's not because I'm better. It's just because I figured out the program just like Alice, and now I just move forward with it. Does that make sense? And then there's 4 tiers of credit that you want to be at. You want to maintain a credit score a minimum of 680. 680, okay? 680 is basic borderline A credit. That's borderline. The next step up is 720. And then the cat's meow is 800. Okay? And if you ain't there now, guess what? It took me 25 years to get a 580 credit score. But it took me 24 months after that to get to 720 and about another 6 to get to 800. But I've been at 800 for 15 years. Does that make sense? Everybody can relate to that? So when you turn on the TV and people say, oh, I can get your credit score real quickly, those are all lies. Those are where they do really quick, where they say trading credit lines and stuff like that. And we'll talk to you one-on-one about that stuff. And if you're at 720 now, you need to get to 780, okay? And we'll teach you how to do that. We have people in our course and program across America, just in the past 2.5 months, we have people come through our webinars that we do every month. The credit scores have gone up about 50, 60 points. By 2, 3 moves that are techniques and principles of success, okay? Let's go back to the book. So this is going to be the first time we pull out the financial improvement worksheet. And again, I know we're behind time, so I'm going to speed up, but I'm going to provide everything for you. So here's what we're going to do. On your financial improvement worksheet, if this stuff applied for you, you would check off, number 1, define my financial goals by developing a written plan, okay? Number 3, implement a plan to become consumer debt free. Number 8, determine my freedom date. I was completely consumer debt free in 2002. I was financially independent in 2008. That means that my reoccurring expenses and my passive income met each other. And at that point, we had a hallelujah breakdown in our household because I didn't have to work anymore. My wife didn't have to work anymore. We were now free to do whatever we wanted to do. I teach financial literacy because I'm passionate and this is my purpose in life. My wife's an educator. She teaches science in a high school because she loves doing That's her passion and her purpose. We want you to have the opportunity to do that as well. Does that make sense? Okay, so number 11, explore the advantages of a debt consolidation loan. And again, that's only if it's applicable. So only check off this if it resonates in your household to you personally right now. Now, on the right-hand side for the consultation that's already paid for by the airport for you, if you want it, upon your request, confidential, it's the letter A. Yes, Coach DJ. Yes, Melvin. I would like to just take a review of my finances. And then it's the letter E. I would like a debt freedom plan. Okay? Does that make sense to everybody? By show of hands, does that make sense by everybody? If you show hands. Okay, great. Let's turn the page. What time is it, Jennifer? Can you tell me what time it is? Because I know we're going to come up short. We're going to provide that information. 10:45? Okay. All right. So let's talk about reducing taxes. Let me see. Who can I pick on? Anthony back there, could you be kind enough to read for me? Because I think you're the only person that hasn't read today for me. So we get everybody. We hold everybody into the fold, okay?
In 2001, nearly 130 million individual taxpayers paid more than 1.1 million in taxes. Over 66% of all taxpayers claimed the standard deduction. Only 32% itemized their deductions.
Yep. So, here's how the wealthy get wealthier. If I make $1,000 and I'm taxing 35%, I'm giving Uncle Sam $350. But if there's a tax law that allows me to pay only 15%, not doing anything illegal, which one should I apply? Should I keep paying 35%, or should I pay 15% like Warren Buffett? Warren Buffett brags all the time, ladies and gentlemen, that he pays less tax percent-wise than his secretary, because he sits down with a team. Check this out, guys. He sits down with a team. His number one advisor is a guy named Charlie Munger, who was his mentor, who was a billionaire, and he followed, and then Warren Buffett became a billionaire. And you know how you know you have the best advisors? Is that you start where they finish and you get better than them. You start where they finish and you get better than them. So what does that mean for you? That means that your sons, your daughters, your grandchildren, from today, they should get better because you learn better. There's a saying, if you know better, you should do better. Because if you don't, you know better. Does that make sense? So let's go to the book real quickly. Let's talk about reducing income taxes. Number 1, stop renting and start buying. Stop renting and start buying. Number 2, convert consumer debt to what kind of debt? Mortgage debt, if and only if it's applicable in your household, if you get the complimentary written plan. Does that make sense? Number 3, contribute to your tax 401k, 403b, qualified retirement plan. That's what Melvin will sit down with you one-on-one. If you're already participating, Melvin will show you how to maximize. And you might say, I don't have enough money to contribute. But if you're paying more for your insurance than you should be paying, you're paying more for your cable than you should be paying, that's when I'll sit down with you and say, hey, here's ABC company that'll give you the same coverage at less cost. That's my passion. I beat up those companies. So I don't believe you should pay a penny more than what a penny is. So if I can take you and you're paying $100 over here and get you $35 more out of that $100, and you still get a $100 value, so you can put more into your 403b, are you excited? You know why you're excited? Because every time you contribute $1 to your 403b, you're getting free money from the airport anyway. How much free money does everybody want? All we can get, right? All we can get. All right, so let's go to number 4. Give money to church or charity, okay? Give money to church or charity. A tax refund is an interest-free loan to the government. Why do I say that? Why do I say that, Alice?
Because they keep your money for a year before they can give it back to you, and if you don't have the right deductions, guess what? You don't get the money.
Ain't that the truth? But you know what? We get excited because, oh man, April 15th, I got a check for $5,000. But guess what? What could you do with that $500 every month, 12 months in advance? You could have made some impact on that consumer debt. Does that make sense? So we'll sit down and show you how to do that, okay?
How many of y'all like Uncle Sam?
He ain't no uncle of mine.
Well, he's getting money for free for a whole year, so
Exactly.
you must like him, right?
Exactly.
And,
All right.
and there's no interest on it.
And no interest.
Oh yeah,
That's right.
there's no interest.
But let you owe him some money.
He getting you at 18% a month.
He'll make you pay plus penalties. How do I know? I give you 3 guesses, the first 2 don't count. I've been audited. And I've had to pay taxes on money that I thought I paid taxes in one of my businesses. It happens to everybody. Anybody know this guy named Will Smith? The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air? Everybody who becomes wealthy in America at some point in time had an hiccup. But you know what they didn't do twice? They didn't make the same mistake twice. Does that make sense? So, guess what? If we can give you the advice to step over the landmine because we already stepped in it, and if you step in it again, then you're the fool, right? So what's there's the saying? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me, okay? All right, let's go back to the book real quickly. Many states, let's talk about reducing property taxes, okay? Many states allow a homeowner property tax break. The exemptions are homestead, amounting to a reduced valuation of $4,500. And if this is not exactly to the state of Alabama, we will give you those numbers on the consultation, okay? But these are what they are based in the states that we work in right now currently. And for seniors, it's $3,000, okay? Make sure that your county credits you for the eligible exemptions, because they're human. They make mistakes all the time, okay? To be certain your home is assessed at the correct value, obtain a comparative market analysis, okay? There's a little website called Zillow. It's really good at getting analysis. Because you want your house to be more valuable, but you want to pay the least amount of taxes. There's actually 2 different equations. Do you guys know that? When they give you this appraised value, but there's actually a county value as well. You want to make sure your county value doesn't necessarily match your appraised market value. Did everybody get me? Because if it does, you'll be paying more taxes than necessary, okay? And you always appeal your tax bill, regardless. There's services that every year, they'll just put an appeal for you automatically that only costs you very little bit of dollars, but it saves you thousands, okay? Everybody got that? And we do that for you on a regular basis, okay? So, home sales and capital gains. Single home owners may sell their homes and make up to $250,000 tax-free. And they only have to live in the house for how many years, Alice? 2 years. I finally got, I had a question that Alice didn't know. Alice, good, but it's 2 years. As long as you live in your house, 2 out of the 5 years, that money is tax-free. That's how wealth is built. Anybody ever seen a home developer build a new community? Anybody ever seen that? Anybody know that the home developer always owns a property in that development? You know why? Because they take that property ownership for 2 years, they sell it completely tax-free. Isn't that a shame? Why aren't they teaching that to us in high school? Because they don't want you to be wealthy. They want you to be what? Consumers, okay? Let's go back to the book. Now, if you're married, it's $500,000. And I know you might be saying, my house is not worth that right now, but guess what? If your parents and your grandparents knew this, they would have been able to pass wealth forward to you. And so now that you learn it today, as your house, values, everything doubles every 10 years. Right, Milton?
It doubles.
Everything doubles. That's what inflation does. So, let's go to the book. Financial Improvement Worksheet, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm going to speed up a little bit again. Number 18. Review my property tax bills for errors and omissions. Okay? If that applies to you, check it off. Number 19. Review my personal long-term tax strategy. You have to have a long-term tax strategy. Okay? Number 20. Explore the tax benefits of funding a Roth IRA. And Melvin will talk a little bit about that in a couple of minutes here. And on the right-hand side for the complimentary consultation that's provided for you for your head boss who just walked in here a couple of minutes ago, it's the letter A. Request the complimentary comprehensive 16-page plan. Number J, get myself a tax strategy consultation. And the letter M, a home and auto evaluation as well. Okay? Let's turn the page real quickly. And what time is it again, Sharon? Keep you on time?
10:54.
Okay, 1054. Thank you very much. Let's talk about cars, okay? How many people here like cars? I love cars. I love them. Man, awesome. Okay? So let's talk. Vroom, vroom, vroom. All right? So cars are not investments. 99.9% of cars are not investments, but 0.1% are. You know, there's some equity, there's some antique cars, there's some cars that are built the only one time that are, but they're not generally, okay? All right? So car payments do what? They eat the dollars that you can fund your retirement, pay for college, or reduce your debt. Now, if you got all those taken care of, then buy as many cars as you want. I'm gonna say that again. If you got all of that taken care of, buy as many cars as you want. If you got all that taken care of, buy as big a house as you want. But if you don't do it. All right? Everybody got that? All right. Smart people own dependable cars, but drive many inexpensive miles as possible. They own dependable cars. Ladies and gentlemen, I have not bought a brand new car in over 15 years. Now, I did just buy a car 2 years ago for my wife. That was a 2015 Sport Utility that we went to the auction and paid 50% less than what they were selling at retail. But you know how long I went to the auction? I went to the auction for like 2 weeks. And my wife was like, we need a car. We got the family vacation that we're about to drive. I was like, until I find my number and my payment, and I'm going to this bank. So if you don't like this joke right here, then don't kill me, kill him, okay? So when I sat down with the guy at the finance office, I said, this is the price we have here. We're gonna pay $14,000. He said, Mr. Duransburg, what bank you going to? I said, I'm going to the Chinese bank. He said, what, HBC? I said, no, I'm paying one lump sum. Pay cash, okay? Now, Anthony, do you think I was able to do that when I was 25? Absolutely not. But as I started disciplining myself, as I surrounded myself with a team, and I started saving my money, getting a 7% return on my investments, and I started putting things aside, and I planned for the next car purchase because our family expanded to 4. We needed a 7-passenger, 8-passenger vehicle, and I had a number that we had set aside. I was able to put the work in, and by putting the work in, and this is how I bring it real home to you. I had a client that needed a car at the same time. They ended up buying the same car we bought. One of those big Nissan Pathfinder, fully loaded, everything. I got the 2015 models, they got the 2017 model. They paid $40,000 for their car. We paid $13,800. We paid cash, they're financing. The only difference between the cars was the little lights. You couldn't tell anything else about the car. But they ran out impulsively, even though they were members of the program, because the wife liked the touch, the smell of the car, and they had the puppy dog effect. What they did was they allowed them to take the car home before the finance was completed. The neighbors were looking at the car. Hey, Chris, man, that's a nice car. Man, you took it. And that power it had on them, it forced them to make a bad decision. Now, mind you, the husband has an 800 credit score, all the consumer debt we got to take care of 2 years ago, but they still are human. And the car dealership understands what? The science of buying. Didn't work.
Or selling cars.
Does that make sense? So everybody, and know what they didn't do? They didn't call us and say, hey, coach, I know I'm in the program for the past 2 years. Can you okay this purchase? Because they didn't want to hear what? No.
And they'd be embarrassed if they didn't get the car and they took it back and got, as if never was like, oh, why didn't you take the shame.
Exactly.
What do you think they say? Take it overnight, drive it over the weekend, and bring it back.
Ain't that the truth?
The reality is, everyone, is that
everybody falls
once you decide you want something,
you get it.
You try to figure out now how you gonna pay for it.
Exactly.
I've decided
Yep.
I want that hairstyle.
Yep. I'll ask for your forgiveness later.
I'm gonna ask you what you think. If you go all crazy over that hairstyle, give me that one right there. He like it, I'm gonna love it.
All right, so let's go back to the book. All right, so you're gonna make best buys by buying a car that's 2 to 3 years old. Remember what I said? My car was a 2015, not a 2017. Okay, I let somebody else depreciate it, give me the miles, and I got the deductions. My car still rides nice, still works well. My wife loves it, my kids love it, and guess what? We don't look up every month and worry about a payment. But they look up every month, because after that new car smell wears off, and that payment and that insurance goes up higher, that's when buyer's remorse comes in. And that's in everything in life, okay? So let's go back to the book. Teenagers should drive used cars and have liability coverage only. So I got a son who's getting his permit right now. He excited, I ain't. But I can feel how he used to be when I was his age. He's, oh yeah, Dad, yeah, I know you got that. And I'm like, oh, man, even I'm good at this, but I can't stop the interest rates because he's a teenager.
Right.
So if you insist on buying a new car, first determine the dealer's cost. And there's a lot of things, but there's still always hidden tricks they got, okay? So we have the websites in here that you can go to. We'll consult with you and we'll help you do those things, all right? So determine the model of the car, and that can be found in the April issue of Consumer Reports, or you can go to Consumer Reports online, or you can go to bankrates.com, okay? All right? Paying off your car. Shop for financing as hard as you shop for the car, okay? Remember what I said? I got my number together, I stuck to my number, and guess what I knew? I only got to buy how many cars? One. How many does the dealership have to sell? Many. So I wasn't overwhelmed by anything that they were trying to tell me. My wife was, because she loved the car. And I was like, hey, go sit outside in that old car right there and let me take care of this business. You can be mad at me now, but you'll be happy tomorrow, okay? So, again, borrow for the minimum number of months if possible. If you do have to finance it, get the lowest term of months, okay? When the loan is paid off, begin investing toward your next car. That's why I had the $14,000, because I had been putting money aside for like 5-6 years. I knew my family was expanding, okay? I planned it, okay? So, example here, $350 at 3% over 48 months. That's $18,000, okay? Everybody got that? Now, try not to lease a car, because gap insurance and other things cause your insurance rates to go higher. And public service announcement disclaimer, I used to be a finance manager in my past life in the car business. I apologize. There you go. So, see, taking that is able to bring it to you. So you know exactly what I'm talking about. They want to get you in that box. And then they sell you everything under the sun, because their job is to make money. Okay? It's not personal. Exactly. So, holding on to your car, the number one reason why people trade cars is what? What do people think here? Why do people trade their cars? Boredom. Boredom. Yes, exactly. Pure boredom, okay? Quality cars last for 15 years or 250,000 miles. I can tell you right now, I own a 2002 Avalon that got 180,000 miles on it, and I'm excited because I also bought that cash 10, 11 years ago with about 35,000 miles on it, and it's still rolling. Until the wheels fall off and the engine cracks, Dad gonna be driving that, because I got that son. He gonna be wanting to drive the bigger, better, bad car, and I gotta pay for the insurance on it, because he's a straight A student. My son's 15, about to graduate from high school 2 years in advance. I'm excited about that. That's what this program allowed us to do in our own personal household, and we'll do the same thing for you. Okay, let's move right forward. Consider selling your car when repair costs begin to escalate, not escalate. Okay, don't get to escalate if it ain't on the payment. And then selling your dependable car starts your payments all over again. Okay, start your payments all over again. So again, we're going to pull out the financial improvement worksheet. So if anybody like me got a son that's getting ready to get that driver's license and ain't excited about that, and he is, you're going to check off number 14, improve my finance by becoming a credit union member, because credit unions give better rates, okay? Again, it's A, the written plan, and then it's the letter H, credit union consultation, okay? All right, everybody good? Everybody good? Let's turn the page real quickly. And again, Sharon, keep me time on time post? 11:03, okay. All right, so let's talk about what's the most important part of building American wealth. It's to refinance or not to refinance. That is the question. Alice, can you read me the caption by the Merrill Lynch study for me, please?
Yes. At retirement, the typical homeowner has only $38,000 in equity.
$38,000 in equity. Jennifer, why do you think that is? When we turn on the TV We always seeing what?
You see, you can borrow against it, and they're gonna pay you a bound money every month, and you don't have to
Yep.
pay them, but they don't tell you at the end of this loan, it's a loan, that you have to
Exactly.
pay back.
And it keeps going over and over and over again. I want everybody to say this with me. The big print, give it. The little print, take it away. So the commercial is the big print. You know when you see the drug commercials? Oh, they tell you how great these drugs are for you. But then at the end, you got some guy or girl talking like 100,000 miles an hour. Right. The treatment is worse than the ailment. Right? Okay? So let's go back to the book. So now this is where we can look up at the slide here. Okay? So, owning a home builds financial security in 3 ways. Equity, appreciation, and tax savings. Equity, appreciation, and tax savings. Okay? Down payments. First-time buyers may qualify with a down payment of at least 5% or less. And a good place to save a down payment is where, Melvin? Roth IRA. They have first-time buyer programs in a Roth IRA. Exactly. It's a beautiful thing, okay? So let me give you an example about mortgage acceleration. Let's assume that you have a $100,000 house, okay? Yep, that's exactly what the illustration is showing here. So, the first year, tell me your name again?
Sure.
Shirley, would you read that for me? The first year you made your payment at 6% on that 100% mortgage, you paid what? Yep, $595. How much money did you owe on that house after the first year? Still owe $98,000, right? Still $98,000. Yep. Hey, Eric, in year 30, how much did you end up paying for that house after you paid the 30-year worth of payments?
$215,038.
But how much did that house cost when you bought it, though? So, how would you guys like to put more of that money back into your pocket?
$50 a month on your payment.
Here we go. Here we go. All right, everybody, this is where I get excited. So you should get excited too. So in this example, I want you to add not 50, but $100.
Well, you might can't pay what you can't afford.
Exactly, and we'll work it up.
That's right.
Exactly. So we're gonna add $100 each month to the principal. Okay.
That comes off the principal.
Exactly. You see how Alice is getting excited? See, she an accountant, so me and her, we can relate. So you should be getting excited about it. So when you add 100 each month, guess how much money you're gonna save over the course of 30 years? $39,900. I want everybody to say that. $39,900.
If you pay that money, you're not gonna pay 30 years.
Exactly.
You're gonna be.
Exactly. See, so you know what's gonna happen next time we come here? Alice is gonna be teaching the course with us.
The very
Can I
next
get a high
statement-
five?
The very next statement says you pay the house off 9 years early.
Yep. So the next thing is the house gets paid off 9 years early. That's what Alice is talking about. So you go from 30 years to 9, and then we actually teach you some other things where you will put another, here's the final answer, $103,737 in your pocket. Just by one move. And you take that, check this out, ladies and gentlemen, and do what's called bi-monthly payments, you will knock off another 3 to 5 years off your mortgage. So you could potentially buy your house in like 15 to 20 years, and you can put a grand total of $142,000 back in your pocket. Shirley, can you get excited about that? Anthony, can you get excited about that?
Oh, yeah.
Can you get excited about that, Sharon? Jennifer, can you get excited about so if we end right now, have we done our job today? Nope. If we end now and we don't get your consultation, all we had was an entertainment value. Does that make sense? Because if all we do is give you this information and you don't go apply it, you don't have to apply it with us, but you should apply it with somebody. When you are at the height of excitement in your life, the next 24 to 48 hours is the most critical in your life because that's when you're going to be most excited about doing something. It's the same thing in a medical emergency. If somebody has a medical emergency, the first 24 to 38 hours, 48 hours is crucial to the treatment and the execution. Does that make sense? Let's go back to the book because I'm excited that you're excited. Let's talk about controlling expenses. Consider electronically debiting your escrow payments for taxes and insurance into your own money market account. And see, a lot of times, remember that dirty word I used earlier today, discipline? A lot of people don't have the discipline to escrow their own money, but they'll let the bank escrow and charge you extra interest, inflate the payment. Anybody ever got the statement that said, well, you know, we're a little bit short on your escrow and we got to take more out? All they're saying is we're going to take some more money, make more 18% return when I take your dollar from you and I give it to Jennifer for her credit card and make more money, and we're going to make you pay for it. But if you're disciplined because you have a team around you, you put your own money market account that's paying you 2, 3, 4% interest because we help put it in place, and you put your own $500 tax payment in your own money market account that's making you money, and then you make your tax payment. Does that make sense? All right, let's move right ahead. So 2 unnecessary expenses may be credit life or private mortgage insurance. And if you are doing private mortgage insurance because that was the only way for you to get in your house, it's a tax deductible now. Private mortgage insurance has been tax deductible for the last 7, 8 years, and a lot of people don't even realize it. So that's a deduction that you missed on your taxes if your tax preparer or your accountant didn't make you aware of it. Not that they're a bad accountant or tax preparer, they just don't know what they don't know. So again, we deal with specialists, not generalists. Does that make sense, ladies and gentlemen? All right, so let's go back to the book. Let's talk about refinancing, okay? And this is only if it's applicable. Now I know, I'm gonna get Alice on this one. Do you know the 50-25 rule? Alice knows a lot. She's super sharp. And all of you are super sharp, but she's been in this field. Do you know what the 50-25 rule is?
I know it, but I can't remember. I really do. I know that. I know that. You got me on this one. Really. If you pay down so much, you can get out of it.
Yep. So let me tell you what the 50-25 rule is. So the average term on a loan is how many years, Sharon? 30 years. If I'm 15 years into the loan, what percent am I into the loan? 50%. That's 50%. But because the first 85% of your payments go towards what? Interest. At the 15-year mark, you will at max own 25% equity. That's the 50-25 rule. So if you find yourself in position to refinance and you're thinking your home is worth more because you've been paying on it for 50% of the term, you're wrong. Because 85% of those payments been going, Shirley, towards interest, okay? So when you refinance, what the bank will do is say, hey, I got you 3% interest rate. You're paying 7%, man, that's huge. Your payment changes by 50% less. You're excited, right? But guess what, Anthony? The bank signs you up and puts you in what term again? 30-year mortgage. And guess what you don't even question, Sharon and Jennifer? You don't question it because you know what he had you focusing on? That deduction and payment. That deduction and payment. So what do magicians do better than anything? They show you the left hand while they fooling you with the right hand. Okay? So what we do is we take that paperwork, we analyze it and say, oh, guess what? If you were in a 50-year period and you only had 25% equity, then guess what we should start our new loan at? 15 years or less. Because they're going to sell you the 30-year, the 20, and the 10, but they don't sell you the 25 or the 5 because it's the same interest rate.
And if you read it, your payments are not going to be that much more
Exactly.
per month.
Exactly.
15 than it is at 30.
Bring it home.